moves slow, time moves fast. In this dance we call the past. Mental health, a fragile thread, but we'll find strength. Let love spread, life's a climb. Just take a step, rise above, find your breath. In the darkness we will find a shining light to free our mind, to free our mind. Self-growth blooms like petals bloom, shedding tears will heal the wounds and the chaos. Let's find peace, embrace the pain, let it release.
Relax your mind. It's divine time.
What up, what up, what up? Everybody hear me?
Peace.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good. We are about to kick this off.
Is Mr. Walters
First of all, let me go ahead and boom, hit this right down there at the bottom. Today's topic is going to be forgiveness. Forgiveness. First of all, let me start off with the introductions. Ladies first, as always. So go ahead and kick it off for me, Dolly.
I'm Dolly. I'm his sister. I don't know. I just have to say this topic I'm excited about. This is one that's near and dear to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I go by the name Impossible. Poet, author, consultant, just someone that's down for the whole revolution and liberation for all beings, that you should be at your full potential and full ability at all times. So that's what I'm about.
Hey, Sigma Uno, I'm all about love, life, happiness. Forgiveness is a huge thing, so I'm ready for this too. Also love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Bet. And once again, I am Donnelly Divine, the host of Divine Time Podcast, where you have joined me today. I'm about love. I have so much love to give, and I want to make the world a better place by giving that love out to as many as that I can. I feel that we all have a truth that we all can learn from, we all can teach from, we all can influence individuals with. I live my life by 3 daily rules. Every day I strive to influence on a positive level. Every day I strive to bring a smile to at least one person's face, and every day I strive to learn something new. If we all govern ourselves by those 3 rules, I feel like the world can become a better place. Michael Jackson said it the best. If you want to make the world a better place, you must first look in the mirror and be that change. And with that, relax your mind. It's divine time. Today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Now, with it, my sister Dolly gave me a book to borrow because I will be giving it back at some point. Can't tell you exactly when. Called Forgiveness. You probably can't really even see it. So, yeah. But in this book, it's a Christian book, but I mean, he covers a lot of good things. Rodney Hogue, I think it is. Yeah, Hughie, Rodney Hogue. First thing that I kind of want to cover on that is going to be on page 15. On page 15, I love there's something that he said that really caught me, and ooh, then I want to go into what forgiveness is to everybody, what forgiveness means to everybody. So actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna bring this up later on. I'm gonna bring it up later on because I feel like first we need to figure out what is forgiveness. All right. So with that, I'm not always gonna do the ladies first. So I'm gonna ask who wants to go first on this one. Don't all jump at once.
You say ladies first?
I said I'm not always gonna do ladies first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so forgiveness for me is me acknowledging and you acknowledging that that either hurt or offended me. Now, whether or not you believe it hurt or offended me is irrelevant. I just need to make sure that you know. And then I let that go where it may. The first time, of course. The second time, it's going to be a discussion. If we make it to a third time, I'm done. And I walk away knowing that I gave you the knowledge that, hey, it might not just be me that's hurt or offended, but it could possibly hurt or offend somebody else.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
I guess that means you have to go next, Mr. Signal, you know?
So, forgiveness for me is yourself realizing what happened, whether it's you that did it or someone else did it. I'm a huge person I'm a person that really believes that if you have a problem with me, let's have a conversation about it. Whether we come to a resolution or not, if I did something wrong to you, I'm going to own what I did, and I'm going to ask you to forgive me. Whether you forgive me or not, then it's your choice. I acknowledge it because I don't want there to be bad air between me and the person, and vice versa. For me, I don't like the hidden words or the he said, she said, or he said he did this, he said you did this to them, or I did this to you, and somebody else is telling me. I would rather be direct and say, this is what you did. If this is what I did, let's talk about it. Let's get down to the root of the problem. And I forgive you, or you forgive me, and we move on. I think it's the deeper part is whether the person accepts it or not, or whether you accept it or not, it's been acknowledged for my sake. Because my head needs to be clear. My thoughts need to be clear moving forward. And I don't hold animosity with anyone. So if it's that deep or if it's that bad, then all means conversation is important. I'm a person that will sit and listen. I have thick skin, so you can figure how you feel, and I won't be angry about it. We'll dialogue, and then either we move on or we have another conversation. Like Mr. Sigmund says, once or twice. After the third time, maybe we need to split ways. No love lost. I still care about you, but we need to be at a distance. And that's, for me, that's the idea of forgiveness.
All right. Impossible. What does forgiveness mean to you?
Ability to release. I want to read something that I wrote a couple of years ago when it's in reference to forgiveness. It says, forgiveness is an action. It transmutes idea along with emotion. Forgiveness is an extension through your intention. You have to be intended to forgive. For me, forgiveness is that ability to allow whatever had happened to be at peace with it, to find a tranquil place that you can grow from. Because people always say, I forgive, but I don't forget. You probably didn't forgive either. Because when you forgive, you can really forget because you really let it go. Forgiveness is a part of just letting go and becoming something brand new. Forgiveness is like a liberation. If I want to explain in one word what is forgiveness, liberation.
Okay. I'm gonna challenge that later. Go ahead, Dolly.
Yeah, talk to me.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness to me is first and foremost, it's a command from God. That's the first thing.
Okay.
It is a release you're releasing the person that may have offended you, or you may have offended, from having an emotional and spiritual hold on you.
Check.
Forgiveness is allowing yourself to not, I think I said this last time, become a slave of your emotions in regards to holding on to stuff. It's ultimately a release. When you forgive someone, forgiveness is deep. When you forgive someone, it allows you to break chains from yourself, because when you harbor unforgiveness, that's when it gets really really deep, because that unforgiveness is where a lot of folk get sick.
Disease.
Literally sick. Right?
You are literally allowing illnesses to invade your body, and that comes from it being a direct commandment from God. It's in the Lord's prayer. Lord, forgive me as I forgive those who have trespassed against me.
Against me.
That's within
Yep.
the Lord's prayer, and so forgiveness is, what, whether I did it or not. If I offended you by me not speaking to you, by the way I spoke to you, if I sneezed wrong, forgive me. It's ownership, yes, taking ownership of a situation, whether you did it or not. It's maturity. That's forgiveness. It's maturity, because everybody can't say, I apologize for stepping on your baby toe when I didn't step on your baby toe.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I step on your big toe.
Sure.
But
It's
it
maturity.
gets super mellow. There's a deeper issue. You see what I'm saying? And this is from who I serve. If it's something small and they just go off of that, there's a deeper issue. There's something else there. There's some thoughts that they had for a long time, and that's just the moment that made everything implode.
Yeah.
And those are some of the things that we deal with it as well. It's like when you walk into a place and somebody just doesn't like you just because you're you. I mean, that's something that you can't help. But at the same time, it's like, okay, there's a deeper problem here. There's something about me that rubs you the wrong way. What in your life happened that I'm reminding you of? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the conversation has to go that deep. And when you get there, finally get to the place, it might not be roses and peaches and ice cream. It may be, hey, I just don't like the way you look. You remind me of someone that hurt me a long time ago. It's that temperamental. It gets
Yeah.
that. And people hold on to that stuff, and like you said, physically they get sick because that's the stress that they decided to hang on to. Something else, man. It gets really deep. It really does.
Forgiveness to me is, and this is funny because all y'all hit on like at least one point of what I feel forgiveness is, which I mean
Yeah.
is makes me happy that we have like-minded individuals. And I mean, forgiveness is to me is a mix of accountability, a mix of being able to forget, and I'm gonna get more into this, and also being able to release pressure from yourself. Now, with that, what I mean by that is the accountability, kind of like how Dolly said, the accountability to know that you did play a part in whatever happened. That ties into being able to release pressure off you. That releasing the pressure off you, because a lot of times you're upset about something that has happened. Like for example, I talked to my other mother a while back. I want to say like last week. She gave me some information that really helps me to completely forgive, knowing that I played a part in the situation that had happened, and therefore, right there, it's like, well, damn, if I didn't do X, Y, and Z, if I didn't do A or B, then C possibly never would have happened, or the opportunity of C happening might not have happened. So that right there, I had to take accountability and be like, you know what? Due to my actions, a lot of this is the consequence. So I can't really get mad at somebody for something that I set up myself. So then that right there helps relieve pressure off me because I was able to take accountability for my actions, which therefore took a lot of the anger out of me, knowing that I can't be mad at myself. I mean, I can be upset with myself, but I'm not going to sit here and be mad at myself because I am in charge of my own emotions. I control what I feel about myself. And with
Mm,
that, knowing, okay, cool, I did this, I took ownership of that. It sucks that this happened, but at the same time, I did that.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
How am I going to forgive somebody else if I can't forgive myself?
Right.
Now, with all that, this ties into how I said I was going to challenge you later on, impossible. The forget.
yeah.
You can forgive, but you never can forget. The reason I say you can't forget is because in order for you to forget means that you are going to set yourself up to possibly make that mistake again in the future. So therefore, you have to remember what has happened to learn from that situation. It's just like how everything is stored in our DNA. We
Hmm.
might not actually remember it, but our body will know that something's wrong. Our discernment
Okay.
will know. So you never really forget.
Okay.
You just might not know why you're doing this or why you feel this way, but you don't ever really forget. Even if you try and put a mental block in your head, for example, for all the way for a long time, which even now I still don't remember some things. From like the age 12 and younger, there's a lot of things in my childhood I don't remember.
Okay.
But when certain things happen, sometimes I feel like I had a deja vu or I end up remembering something. I'm like, dang. So I have to talk to my mom and be like, yo, da da da. She was like, yeah, we were there. I was like, I didn't even know we lived there. Or
Right. Right. Right.
I'm like, oh snap, okay. So therefore now I'm knowing like, okay, I'm remembering something from my past that I really did not. Any other time I would not remember. Something ended up triggering my amygdala that caused me to remember this situation, or remember,
Right. Right.
or something that gave me a little PTSD from that, and I'm like, oh shit, what the hell's going on?
Gotcha.
So I
Gotcha.
never really, I tried to forget, but things happen that cause it to where it won't let you because it's not going to let you
Ah.
go down that path again.
Okay. Okay.
It's
I
good.
respect that 110%. But here's an aspect of spirituality called
Mhm.
detachment.
Mm.
Heard about detachment, right?
Yeah, I've heard about detachment.
Okay.
Mm.
So I can detach from that
Yeah,
situation
for sure.
and it no longer triggers me.
Hmm.
Right.
And so why would I be remembering something that causes a trigger if I
But
detach
that
from
now with it, just
it? Hmm.
because you detach from something, I was like, you can think of something and not have that emotional response.
But
So
you just said you
therefore,
control your thoughts. You said you control your thoughts,
but that right there, in order for you to really be triggered on something, that's with an emotional response, right?
It
but
is.
you control your thoughts. If you
Yeah.
control your thoughts, don't you control the emotional response?
And that right there is the forgiveness. Thoughts and emotions are not the same, are they?
They run together.
Yeah,
I do
they
believe
run
they are
together.
a harmonious thing. Yes, thoughts
Yes.
I
and feelings
feel
are
I
same.
feel it in some aspects. Because with it, kind of like how we talked about love once before,
Uh
is
huh.
love a feeling or is love an emotion? I'm like depending
Who?
on the way that you speak of it.
Right. Right. True. True.
So again, that comes down to the emotions. Because sometimes people have some emotions wrapped up in a feeling when they're not a feeling. But
Well,
let
hold on. Wall was going to say something. He
we
got
about
his
we
hand
about to
up.
go
See,
down.
he
Yeah,
got the finger up. I nigga
I'm
got the
trying
finger
to
up.
get in there.
Let me get my brother in. Let me get my brother in. Huh?
Let me give you an example. My mother passed away, and we had, when I tell you our family dynamic was completely broken, it was just in shambles. So we at one time we were trying to search for her to get some reconciliation based on the things that happened to us when we were kids. We all had children, 24 grandchildren. We wanted her to see her grandkids and just forget about all the other stuff, right? By the time we did find out where she was, she had already passed away. That destroyed me for the one reason that we cannot sit down and reconcile. It was
Mm.
like, how do you do this? And she's gone. You know, she's not here to have this conversation. And so you either have to go into the world of spirituality and hope to have this conversation with her, or you have to reconcile with yourself that you'll never have that chance. and say, hey, I love her. These are the things she did for me. And then create a joyful moment about all the things that I remember good that she did and try to block out all the negative. And that's what our family decided to do. Hey, we're not going to bring this negative stuff back in. We're born from her. We're born from our father. This is the dynamics of our family. This is our legacy. So we're going to have to make joy from it. And it's not always. I had an argument with my sister the other day that reminded me so much of things that my mother had done. And like you said, it pops up, but I can't let it rule me. So if I let it rule me, then I go right back into that rabbit hole, pull the cover over my head, and go into that depression again. I can't let it rule me. And like I told my sister, I said, "Hey, I love you. Do what you do. I'm not going down that road anymore. Your mother's gone. We can't change that. We have to keep living." And so this is what I passed on to my kids. And the thing about it is, my kids don't know too much about what happened to me as a child. If I told them, it would be something that I'm dropping on them. It's my I have control about whether I give it to them or not. If I don't give it to them, they'll never have it, and they'll never have it to carry because it isn't theirs to carry in the first place. And now it's not mine to carry at all, period, because I choose not to hold on to it. If I do, then I can't move forward with anything because it's like planting yourself in this dark, wet place and expecting it to have this growth. It's not going to be any growth because you're not getting any sun. You're not getting enough water. All you're getting is dampness, and eventually things will rot. Your tree is going to rot, and that's it. There's no sun. You have to push yourself to be joyful about life beyond all the stuff that's happened. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard because you remember that. You remember that assaults on your life. Remember that assaults on your character. You remember that people are saying things about you that's not true. All of that is valid. But what are you going to do? Are you going to allow it to kill you, or are you going to brush it off? Or are you going to say, hey, this is no longer a part of my life. I forgive myself. I forgive the people that did it, and I have to move on. You don't have to think about them ever again. There are people that hurt me that I can't even remember what they look like. And the Signal Uno reminded me the other day, when you let it go, I can't even remember how people look.
It's gone.
Exactly, exactly. So, and again, it's not easy. It's hard, but at the same time, if you love your life and you want to live a good life, the worst thing you can do is live bad here and die in that same mind frame because
Yeah.
the whole spirit of it is wrong. It's like you didn't take a chance to live beyond this, and again, that is the tool of your enemy. They want you to be down. They want you to be sad. They want you to be depressed, and they want to take your joy from you. And if you give it to them, then they'll have it. Whether it's a random thought, or whether it's them showing up, or a picture popping up on Facebook, or you see in their car driving by. When that happens, you have to be able to tune yourself out to where none of that bothers you anymore. And even to the point to where, hey, I love all people. I'm sorry that you felt this way about what's going on with you. We came to the point. This is me asking forgiveness and forgiving myself. This is reciprocity. This is my reciprocity. I give love and I want to get love back. So that's what my focus is now. You know what I'm saying?
Good. That's really good. I just want to say forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for us. It's for you.
Yep.
It's for you. And a lot of folks don't really understand. We're like, pride? Oh,
Please
Right.
remember, I destroy everything.
everything. People who are prideful don't realize I'm not forgiving them. I'm not saying I'm sorry. I'm not apologizing. Well, sweetheart, you're only hurting nobody but yourself. That's the
Right.
only person you're hurting is
I
yourself.
was gonna get into that. That's one of my talking points.
Like for real, it's not about. Let me tell you, when I learned the being humble, how far humility goes, that's when stuff started to physically break off.
There you go.
Mhm.
Mentally, you start to think differently. You don't think everybody out to get you. You can take a step back and think about your actions before you
Mhm.
respond and or react. like we talked about 2 weeks ago. Those things influence how you treat other people. And it goes back to love. If you love people the way that we're supposed to love people, then forgiving somebody is going to come like nothing. When people offend you, it'll be like water off a duck's back. It's not going to stick to you, and you're not going to carry it through life, because a lot of times when we go through things and we are offended, if you're not in a place mentally and spiritually, it will stick to you, and you're going to carry those things. It's like carrying a book bag. All have book bags we carry through life, right? And so
That's a good
if we're
analogy.
going through life with our book bags and somebody offends you, then you're taking whatever they said and you're throwing in that book bag and you're carrying it through life with you. Now, if you get to a place spiritually, we're like, wait a minute, somebody is offending you, right? And they hand you that junk and you're like, you know who you are. You can look at that.
That's it.
That don't apply to me. And you can dust it off, and it's not going to be in your book bag, because when we get weighty and we're bound by those things, then you become hunched over and you're struggling through life. Then you wonder why you depressed and you got anxiety. You suffer from migraines. You got MS. You know what I'm saying? All of these things. You wonder why it's in your body, mentally, physically, emotionally. You can't love on your spouse. You can't love on your family members because you're so bound with all of these, the bitterness. It's so, like you said earlier, I'm gonna say Mr. Walter because I can't remember your last name. I'm so sorry. You said it earlier. The root. It's a root, and a lot of time that root comes from unforgiveness. That root is bitterness. That somebody done hurt you, and you carrying it. So once you discover that root, then you can humble yourself, get rid of pride, and then you can walk through life like a mature adult.
That's it.
Agreed. I just want to piggyback one thing to what you said, sis, because I remember when I made my transition to understanding myself. My aunt Trish from Maryland, she called me one day and she said, "I'm so happy you made this change because you were so bitter for so many years." And I never thought I was bitter. You feel me? I was angry all the time, but I didn't understand I was bitter. But when she said that to me, I sat back and said, wow, she's the only person that had the courage to tell me what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? And I love her so much for that, because it made me take a different look. Like I said, I was in my transition totally. So when she said, "I'm so glad to see you made this change in your life because you've been so bitter for so many years." So I just want to piggyback on that, sis. That's all.
Yeah, that's good stuff. He told me last year, he came to see me during the summer, and I don't mind being transparent because that's part of growth, right?
Yeah.
He came to see me last year, and I mean, this is my blood brother. We grew up together, so I can look at him and tell when something ain't right. I can hear it in his voice, versa. So he was like, he looked at me in my driveway. And he was like, "What's wrong with you?" "I'm good." "Nah, something ain't right with you." And then as we spent more time together, he was able to say, "Sis, like, why are you so angry? You're not acting how I want you to act. You're not acting like my sister." And when you're harboring unforgiveness, you take offense to that. "What you mean? I'm not acting like myself. I am myself." And I had to assess, wait a minute now. He's telling me this out of love.
Wow.
That's where people get, like we say nowadays, butt hurt because somebody is telling them about themselves. But if people are telling you something and you know that they genuinely love you, they're coming from a place of love. And looking at people and saying, "Hey, yo," like you said with your aunt, "You're telling me this because you saw a shift in me that could have been a positive or a negative." I'm the type of person where I want you to say, "Darlene, when you said this, I ain't like that." I'm at that place now. 2 years ago, I would pop off. That's being 100. I'm West Indian. I will pop off. Now I'm level-headed where I can be like, "Oh, okay, I apologize. I offended you. If my words have hurt you, that's never my intention, because at the end of the day, I know you, out of your mouth, you speak life and death. So I have to be cognitive of the words that I say, because that saying, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words never hurt me. That is a lie from the pits of hell.
Yeah.
So I don't know Who told that bold-faced lie to us as kids? It's not true.
It's not.
It's not. You know,
It's not speaking from the reality.
right. You gaslighting me. Right.
Facts.
You know, so it's maturity. So now when you become aware of those things, you can say, you know what? I appreciate you for telling me you didn't like that. Let me work on that.
Yeah.
Right.
That is growth, and that's something that I've always told my partner. I'm like, look, if I do anything that bothers you, let me know right then and there. Otherwise, I'm going to continue doing it because I'm unaware that it upsets you, that it hurts you.
That's right.
I was like,
right.
so don't hold it in, and then like 2 years later, come down and and like give me a long list, and it's like, bro, I don't even remember those things. Like, I'm sorry.
But you're right. I mean, that's sometimes that happens because it depends on how you grow up, and then there's also this blood bond. So in the blood bond, it's like they believe that you should already know, and in some cases you should.
I don't read minds.
Because this is where me and Sigma. It's like I know the transition of what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and if I fall out of line with that, and I know she feels bad about it, or I see that she feels bad about it, I have to search myself first and be like, okay, what did I do? Did I do something? Oh, something's not lining up. Okay, something's not lining up. I apologize because the way things are, we're going to get there, but I have to be conscious of it. But that's just not only verbally; it's this blood connection. You're connected with the person, and what you feel, they feel. So,
but
like you're saying, go ahead.
Okay, but how are you? All right? I have this thing where, for example, like my partner, she comes up to me and she's like, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "Sorry for what?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Then how can you apologize if you don't know what you're apologizing for?" I feel like that's just that's just words. I let me finish.
No. Listen, I'm just agreeing. Please finish. I'm saying.
No, y'all. The way everybody jumped in their seat was like, "Ooh, yeah." Everybody was like, "Card on the field." I'm like, "Hold it."
Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Speak that thing out. Speak it all the way out.
I made it feel like
So
I
I
was a
can
white
understand.
dude and just slid in here. It was like, nah. Oh, anyway. Like I was saying, when she comes up sometimes, she'll just be like, "Sorry." I'm like, "What are you sorry for?" And she's just like, "I don't know." I'm like, for me, sometimes I feel like that's just words because you're saying sorry, but there's no real meaning behind it because you don't even know what you're apologizing for. And with it, I know in some situations you can say sorry because you don't know what you did, but you know that you did something. And then that right there could lead to the person to telling you like if you say sorry and they're like, "Hey, what are you sorry for?" "I don't know. I just felt like something is bothering you and I'm guessing I did something." And then that might open it up for the person to be like, "Well, earlier such and such what you will." And that way now you're aware of what had happened. But there are some times where it's like nothing's really even wrong, or you're unaware that something is wrong, and the person comes over and says sorry, and it's like, did you do something? Like, what's going on? Are you guilty of something? Please tell me more. Like, so, yeah, it's like, tell on yourself, inform me. So, and I mean, so that's why sometimes I feel like when a person just says sorry out of nowhere, it's just like, okay, what are you sorry about?
Right.
Like, I don't feel anything about anything that has happened that you did. Do you feel that you did something? Because then sometimes people might be apologizing for things that they have been told in life that is a bad thing. That might not necessarily be a bad thing towards you. So they might have been programmed to, or either they might even have some type of trauma to where now they constantly are apologizing for things that really they don't even need to be sorry for.
That's a good point.
I think what is happening is, I mean, they're watching you when you're not watching yourself. So if you're down in the dumps or something's going on, or they feel like you're hurting for something and they don't know what it is, sorry doesn't mean I did something all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry means, oh man, I'm sorry for what you're going through. I'm sorry for how you're feeling. I wish I could make it better for you. Or maybe it's a previous conversation that she was thinking all the way through, and then she came back and was like, oh man, he's really struggling through this. I'm so sorry. And I do the same thing. It's like if somebody comes in and has a conversation with me, I can go back in my head with the conversation, and if I didn't get it all the way, I'm like, oh, that's what they were saying. Let me go back and have a conversation. Hey, look, I'm sorry, I didn't get it before, but I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying that, or I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through, and that's what I think it is. And I don't always go by signs per se, but it's where the person grew up, the mannerisms, where they come from,
Mm-hmm.
who they're taught by. All of this is in their DNA. So it's not necessarily a negative thing, but because you're in a specific headspace and you're fighting something, it doesn't mean that she's a part of that fight. It means, hey, I know what you're going through. I see you're hurting. So I'm sorry. And maybe that, and from me knowing her, that's honestly what I feel like is happening. Because I don't think it was something angry or something bad that she did. She was just saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry." I, and maybe she didn't say, "I feel what you're going through," but at the same time, go ahead.
I'm going to say it's hereditary.
Empathy.
And I'm going to say that because my grandmother, my great grandmother, both raised my mother, all the women in our family. It is hard being a Black man.
Mm.
They had to go through whatever they had to go through during that day. Nobody that they interacted with that day, good, bad, or indifferent, apologized for anything that they did, good, bad, or indifferent. Right? So when he walks in that house and he looks defeated, hey, it was a rough one. I'm sorry. Or if you look a certain way and you are vibing a certain way, even if you don't look it, you're faking it till you make it. If you guys are connected like that, they feel that. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't do it, but I'm sorry.
Wow.
Because whoever did it is they didn't say it.
Right.
And you need it. It didn't come from where you needed it from, but you still need it.
Wow.
That's wisdom.
Yeah.
That is good wisdom.
She always drop it. She always drop it.
I know, right?
I do it like that. I'm here for
Trying to get money for the
rent. They run off and go cook. I still want some. I know you can hear me.
There's a book called Way of the Superior Man. I'm gonna send that to you.
What, say that one more time for me.
Way of the Superior Man.
Way of the Superior Man. Please do.
I got it on my drive. When we finish this episode tonight, I'll send it to you. Walt, I send it to you. Definitely. And Ira, you make sure Sis get a copy too, because she definitely can read it as well. Because it'll give just different insights to what's really going on with us as men, and when we're interacting with our divine feminine energy, what that means when she speaks.
Good, because I've been looking for something else to read, as you already saw. I was like, bro, you know what that book?
Listen, you can pick it up tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. You can pick it up.
Okay, I'm off tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Ooh. I'm off every day.
What you doing tomorrow? Are we doing a movie night tomorrow?
Yeah.
Hey. All right. Hey, so with it real quick.
Yeah.
The hell?
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What happened? Who we got? We got Mommy Dearest.
Nope.
No?
Queenie, introduce yourself.
Oh, it's Queenie. Hey, girl.
My name is Bianca, and I have had a very tumultuous life, so that's why I have not been present for a while. But yeah, and I'm just be living what they do. How y'all
about
been?
Forgiveness today, so we forgive you.
Baby, that ain't nothing to forgive. I'm grown, honey. That's my life. Don't nobody fuck finance me on this panel. Ain't nothing to forgive.
All right. Everything good with you?
I still felt like it was necessary to say. I still feel like it was necessary to say because I did like disappear for a long time. So
you good. You good. I mean, Ma said it best. It's hard out here for a pimp.
Let's go.
All right. So yes, it's been a minute. I think last time I had you on was for Black Love, Beautiful Agape. I think. Yes. All right. So tonight we're covering forgiveness. I'm gonna ask you very first question. What does forgiveness mean to you?
Forgiveness means understanding that they're human and that they still can live and become better and not rot in my basement.
I
What?
like her already. I,
Because if
I
I
like
have
her
to forgive,
already.
if I have to forgive you, because most things I just attribute to the human condition. Like
Yeah.
everybody
Okay,
lives
bet.
their own lives. But if it's something I need to take time to forgive you for, you probably belong in my basement. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Mm, that's a great
Uh,
philosophy. I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna steal that
Because it stops me from giving energy to too much stuff because
one.
people gonna piss you off every day. So
facts.
like it stops me from giving energy to things that would normally just tick me off for the slightest, smallest little thing. It's like, why would you come? You tried to pull into this parking space. You know what? That lady probably was in a rush. That man was probably in a rush. It's not that big of a deal. But if I'm close enough to you or we have a situation to where I truly need to put in the effort and the energy to
Mhm.
forgive you, you actually probably did something that you belong in my basement. That's how I feel.
Oh man, I love how raw everybody is. That's what she said. You belong in my basement.
Because think about it, the stuff.
Love
Okay,
Island.
think
Let me
about it.
throw
The
that.
people that piss y'all off on a daily basis when you get home or you
Mhm.
get with your family, you forget about them, don't you? You
Oh,
don't
here we
really
go
think
with the
about
forgiveness.
I
like you
forget
forget
about
about
them. I
them.
forget about them in their face. I forget about them
That's what
in
I'm
their
saying.
face.
But the people
Forget
that
you.
you have to forgive, you think
Mhm.
you have to ruminate on it because they really pissed you off. Like you have to work to forgive them.
Yeah.
That's good. That's true.
That's what I'm saying. So
Ira, my new
I know
slogan:
what you're
take
about
them
to
to the
say.
basement. And my new slogan: take them to the basement.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Take them to the basement.
I knew that was coming. And bro, I'm gonna be saying that a lot at work. I'm like, take him to the basement.
Mhm. Take them to the basement.
Oh man, yo,
for
Kristen
real.
gonna be so confused. She's like, you and Ralph both say that. I'm like, they deserve to be in the
Oh
basement.
my gosh.
I tell people every day, people should be more thankful that they're alive. Because if you piss me off, you
Agreed.
should be thankful. Be grateful that I don't want to go to prison.
Check.
Like,
Check.
You're
For real.
you making it sound like you're this very violent person.
oh, I
I've never.
am inside of my head. Every room I go in, I think about how I can unalive every person, even though I don't intend to.
It's funny
I
you say that because
watch
that's something I
I
learned in the
watch
Marine Corps.
anime. Yeah, I
Yeah.
watch anime and stuff. Like I have a very creative mind. Like there's times I go into rooms and I think about how, how I would dress everybody up like princes and princesses. And then sometimes in like literally we sitting here doing paperwork and in my head we have an imaginary ball. And then sometimes in my head I'm determining how long it would take to take you out with the lotion and the stapler. Like it just all depends on the day.
Man, why are you giving me thoughts now? I'm like lotion and a stapler. The things you could do. Anyway,
For real.
anyway,
What?
let me get back on topic. Let me get back on
What's the
topic.
next question?
Yes, please.
It's not a question. It's not a question.
What a
So Black
statement.
Magic
Topic.
actually
Sure.
Black Magic did a podcast with Sharif Arnell Bed, and
I seen it.
with
Yeah.
that, I thank you as well, Ralph, for sending that out. And I was like, with that, he had some points. He said, without resistance, there is no strength building. There is no learning. And with that, I was like, yo, that comes down to the forgiveness that we're talking about tonight. I was like, we have to go through things in life in order to actually get to where we're supposed to be, which was funny because when he had said that, that's what I had thought of. And then shortly later on, he said, suffer brings us closer to perfection. I was like, mother fofo. I was like, yo, you dropping gems tonight, boy.
Hmm.
I mean,
Mm.
listen,
Hmm.
we're talking forgiveness person to person,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there's also forgiveness for them people. How do you forgive them? We can't continue to play the victim card, but we can't continue to hate them either. So what do? I mean, and we've always shown this immaculate love to them, regardless of what they've done to us,
Mm-hmm.
almost to the point of Stockholm syndrome.
Ooh.
But how do you continue on without playing? I, I'm sorry to say you're playing the victim card, but we've been victimized so long that some people are stuck in that headspace. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth in regards to why they can't move forward is because of this, because of slavery, because of systematic racism, all the rest of stuff. How do we get to the point to where we let that go and forgive them, truly forgive them?
You said it. Let it go.
Wait, hold on. You talking about forgiving Casper Conquistadors?
The Wahite tribe.
The Mayo monsters. Let me stop.
I'm confused. Yeah, the mayonnaise matrons, the Mayo monsters, Casper colonizers. Is that who you're talking about forgiving?
That is a good one, yes.
Ralph is like, he's like, I ain't gonna laugh. I ain't gonna laugh.
Listen, I
that Ralph is
can't help.
watching
I
one of those
can't do
videos where
nothing
it's like, if you
because
laugh,
it's the
you going
truth.
to hell.
Listen, I don't got no problem with it. Even if we murdered them all and all of them were dead, we still would have to deal with the act of forgiveness.
Well,
We
yeah, but I
still would
was
have to
just
deal with it.
wondering. I was just wondering if that's who he was, because he was like systemic racism and all this stuff. And I was like, is he
No.
talking about them people, or is just that's an example? That's more or less what I was asking.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Bet.
We turned that to a little comedic thing real quick. But yeah, that
But yeah.
was that a rhetorical question, or were you actually asking how do
I mean,
Oh, that's for real. I'm truly asking him.
I've already come to resolve in my mind what I need to do, and that's completely moving away and focusing on building my own.
Okay.
I think a couple of things happened when it came to the civil rights movement that fed us to the lion versus us keeping this independence like we were Colfax, or the city we built in Colfax, New York, or Green, was it Florida, Rosewood, Florida, or Tulsa, Oklahoma. We didn't care if they hated us. We built regardless of what they hate because we needed to live. You see what I'm saying? So that's my mindset. I don't care if you hate me no more. I'm gonna build because I need to live. Period. And it don't have to be where you're at. It doesn't have to be by your standard. It's just me living because I need to live and my family needs to live.
Yep.
So that's kind of the pattern I've fallen into. But I talk to a lot of people that whose mindset is stuck in this is what's holding me back, and these are the thoughts in my head, and I want to kill them, and there's a lot of things, and I'm like, how? I mean, and again, it's that person that has to deal with it. I can't alleviate the issue for them. But what do you tell someone that's trying to work through that? And is there forgiveness? Should there be forgiveness in their heart or their mind in regards to that?
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
That's really deep. I mean, I guess I'll go first because that's good. Um, I mean, forgiveness is forgiveness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Can
saying?
you use the word in the definition?
Well, let me. I'm gonna explain around. Hold on a second. Forgiveness. What I'm saying is forgiveness is forgiveness. You can't pick and choose who you're gonna forgive.
Check.
This again, it goes back to when we're forgiving people. It's not for the others. It's for yourself.
Right. Right.
Because you're the one that's gonna walk around here looking like foo because you have mess in your heart.
Right.
You're the one that's gonna be nasty to people today because of what their ancestor did back in the day. That's foolish. We have as but people have to get to a place, and I believe we are getting there. If a lot of us are there, where
Right.
we're not harboring that unforgiveness because of what someone did out of hatred.
Check.
All we can do is still function and operate out of love and function within that unforgiveness because at the end of the day, we're the ones going to reap those blessings.
Exactly.
We're hindering ourselves. So I know for myself, and I teach my boys, this is your history. Know your history.
Right.
I don't care what they teach you in school, but this is your
Check.
history.
Right.
Know your roots. Because when somebody outside of this household tell you something that ain't true, you're gonna know, that ain't the truth.
Right.
But don't hold nothing against them. Their eyes will be open to make that, those decisions for themselves. Like that ain't the truth, but I know what is, and they're gonna thirst for more knowledge upon, the truth.
Right.
But not be angry and bitter and be resentful, because that breeds those generations
Right, there you go.
of being nasty to one another and calling each other out of each other. Look at Israel,
Yes.
and I'm done.
Okay, so I have a question. Okay, so like, because in regards to the colonizers, I don't treat them, or I wouldn't treat Casper Conquistador like they're just innately a bad person. But at the same time, I guess to put forgiveness on what I feel for them, that will never ever exist for me. Like you can come in my house and you can eat at my table down on the other end of the table. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what type of inherent like or unconscious biases you have. So I'm moving in love with them, but it's just love from a distance. It's I need to be careful because even if I like, for example, even if I date a Caucasian man, I'm not gonna be if I'm gonna be like maybe one day I might have to him. Okay, he might get a little spicy, but I'm not going to operate in that type of energy like I know for a fact it's going to happen. But I
Yeah.
can't sit here and say that I forgive them for what they've done. So how what would you say that type of space is? Because I don't forgive you, but I'm not moving in hate towards you either. If they cold, I'm gonna give them something to
Oh,
warm them up.
hey,
So
y'all remember earlier I said that I was gonna hit this later, and it's telling me right now. It's telling me right now is the time. Page 15 out of that forgiveness book.
Mhm.
Forgiveness doesn't declare that what the offenders did is now okay. You might assume that if you forgive, you are somehow coming to terms with the offense and excusing it. The truth is that forgiveness does not conceal the seriousness of the hurt that the offense may have caused. For example, one man had a business associate take advantage of him in such a way that devastated his business. His belief was that if he were to forgive this business associate for his treacherous actions, it would mean that he would have to diminish the magnitude of the crime. He didn't want to minimize the treachery. His life was a living hell for a season. For him to forgive him did not mean that he was no longer affected by the offense. Forgiveness does not mean you have to confess that you are no longer affected by the actions of another or that their actions should have no consequences. Instead, forgiveness takes an offense seriously without trying to pass it off as an insignificant, trivial matter.
so that means that technically, are you saying that I do forgive them because I don't carry around hate for them in my heart? So technically, I forgive them. Okay, see, I never looked at forgiveness like that. Like forgiving mean I was actually able to truly let it go. For
Right.
me, that's what I thought forgiveness was. Oh, okay.
But
Well, then I guess I forgive
you,
the
you said
mayonnaise people.
you was only going to take the mayonnaise people unless they did something. So as long as the mayonnaise people ain't did nothing, you was going to be all right with them. So yeah,
Yo,
I mean, but mayonnaise people have
impossible.
done things to me in my life like that is associated with, oppression and racism, but I just assume it's like, well, okay, you're not going to play in my face personally, but then after that, maybe some of them they'll take the time and allow me to explain why what they did or what they said was wrong. So, but I never
Bro,
actually let it go. I just kept moving in love and light with them because I just didn't want that seed to fester in me. But I didn't look at it as though I forgave them, because if I forgave them, if I forgive you, I'm not going to be on the on the caution about you. And I'm going to be on the I feel like and I'm going to be on the caution about them for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Like, so
I
I
mean,
don't know.
that's good too. Like, because a lot of times, when somebody offends you or they hurt you, like, I think Ralph said earlier, I'm gonna forgive, I ain't gonna forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have
no.
or he said something. He was talking about unforget or forgiveness and
He said,
forget.
he said,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna include it,
He
but
said
I
he
remember
forgives.
those.
He's gonna forget. I said that forgive but don't forget
You can't
because
forget.
yeah, because it's still you need to learn from that experience. Now
Hmm.
I feel like what he was saying was to forget is like I forget those people altogether, but I feel like he still remembers the situation. Is that
Yeah.
wrong or is that right?
I mean, we again, that's where the whole evolution comes from. Is the
Mhm.
situation. Once I evolve from the situation, what the hell I got to remember it for? It's
Well,
over with.
yeah, but the learning aspect from it, right?
I just learned.
And I
I
think
learned not to
it's
do that shit no more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
Yeah.
so
So
therefore
I'm
if a
finished.
situation arose, you're like, nah, last time some shit like this happened. You're like, yeah, not doing that again.
I mean, and that's
So I mean, remembering isn't always a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Can you
It's
forget
not.
though? But can you forget though? Like if you are able to witness it coming, you have to notice, oh, this person played in my face like this last time. Like, so can you actually forget? Because anytime you need to recognize, because forgetting means you can't recognize you was naive in that moment because you forgot what happened. You
Okay.
literally will never
So
forget.
so to
give that person.
forget.
You have to
So
give
let
that
me take and blend forgetting and detachment as one.
And that's the
Okay.
emotional
Mm.
part though. Because the
That
attachment deals with the
Okay.
emotions,
If
right?
you want to say, okay, well, if it's emotional, it's emotional. But when I
That's a
detach from the
question.
situation, I
but
mean,
it's also circumstantial. And like
yeah, it's all perspective. It's that vantage point what we talked
Ooh,
about before.
ooh.
yeah,
Yo, Sharif
It's
and El Bay said, change your perspective. All right,
it's
sorry.
just a vantage point, man. So we're all on this panel because we all have different vantage points.
that's
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
So what I'm hearing from the queen that there is balance, but there's still I'll fuck you up. That's just what it is.
That's, I mean,
You
and
know what I'm
that's
saying?
There's
Like
always up, around, and
she
find
don't
out.
really want this. She ain't going out be like, I'm looking to get somebody to smoke today. No. But if the smoke come her way, she gonna fan that
It's
motherfucker to make
it's
sure
an
they know the fire
opportunity.
is
It's an
alive.
Why are
opportunity.
You know
you
what I'm
so
talking about?
happy about
Fire
this?
is alive.
Yo,
so
Because
look so
excited.
excited. She likes to see
because like
emotions.
in real life, when you are going through process to where you don't give people energy anymore, like when people say, I wish somebody would, I really do. I have not ever seen the inside of human skin. And I feel like that's a thing I would like to experience.
It's
That's why
level
I'm going to
3.
medical school. But the thing is, I would never do that to
Somebody
a
get this woman a
person.
cadaver, please.
No, I'm just saying
Please.
because I don't believe in hurting people. I don't believe in hurting
He's
people,
like,
but it's
look,
just certain things that I want to experience. Like I want to see what intestines feel like, but I can't just do that because it feel good. Somebody has to be trying to take my life first. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
Mr. Walter, get her.
Somebody
Get her, Mr. Walter. Please
look,
get her, Mr.
I'm not
Walter.
ashamed of my dark
can you work?
thoughts. Okay. I'm
oh
not
my
ashamed of
god.
my dark thoughts
We
because that
all
just I'm just an inquisitive person. I am. That's why I intend to go to medical school. I like to
need to know. So
understand
you, yes.
intricacies about humans and stuff like that. So that's just like I wish somebody would. Like he said, I live in light. Like I'm gonna hug you and help you first. But if you get crazy, look at me with this opportunity. It's standing right in front of me.
God.
What? As long as you can cover yourself, that's all that matters.
That's a
Let
struggle.
me. I want to share one story. There was a years ago, because I have two baby mothers, and I used to say it a long time ago. If I can kill them legally, I would, but I can't kill
Mm.
them legally. So, just to piggyback on what you were saying, I understand. I'm just not there anymore because I don't want them dead no more. I don't wish death upon none. But if you happen to cross the line, if you happen to cross the line
I'm ready for it.
to
Yeah.
fuck with me and my family,
I'm ready.
okay.
Well, see, no, I don't want people. No, I don't want people dead. Like, I don't want to hurt people. It's just things that I want to experience require someone being hurt. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never want to do that to a person. Like, if a boy hurt my feelings or do something weird to me, like, I'm never going to wish him dead. Like, the men who raped me, I don't wish them dead. You
Mm.
see what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
can't do that to another person because that has to be hate that's holding inside of me. And I'm the one that gotta sleep with that. I'm the one that gotta eat with that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just there are things I want to experience that I can't without breaking the law.
Check.
It's purely like an inquisitive thing. Like it's just for the
Get
sake
you
of
some get you some virtual glasses and just have that shit virtual. You know what
no, I
Hey,
want to touch. No, I want to touch.
I
She said, I want to touch, I want to feel.
I need that. I'm a sensory person. I want to
mean?
feel
Okay.
intestines. I want to
Okay.
feel what a heart feels like in my hand. Like,
Woo.
I hear you. And see, that for
you
me,
understand what I'm saying? It doesn't. Okay, y'all.
I know I know what you mean. I'm just thinking about later on when someone's watching this and they're like, what the fuck?
no, I mean, but this is reality, though.
And
Is
they
this
can.
forgiveness?
This is my thing. My thing is,
Yes, I forgive them. I forgive people that do bad things to me. I just sometimes wish I could see what they liver felt like, and but I would never do that.
It's a, for me, it's a suppression. I've been, I'm a,
I'm just being honest, you
I,
know.
And that's what we ask.
yeah, I chose to fight, and all the rest of the stuff. My thing is, if there's a point of suppression. Black men can't be warriors like we know we can be. There's always a line. There's always a thought in the back of our head like, oh, hold on a second. If I do this, these are the consequences. When war happens, war is war. The consequence to war is you win or lose, right? But if you're suppressed about warring, like I've been suppressed about warring since I was a kid. It's like I got all this pent up anger, and I want to war. I want to fight. I know people that are wanting to war against me or that have done things that hurt my family, that hurt my people. I want to war, but we can't war because if we do war, there's a consequence. And I know the system's set up to where we can't do what they did to us because they've set a war. They set a law because they don't want us to do what they did to us, and it's wrong, 100%. But that prevents us from training our young boys the same way. It prevents us from training our young ladies the same way. They should be ready for that type of thing, but we're not. We think more about suppression than we think about war and death and killing. But she seems to think about it quite a bit.
Well, I play a lot of video games and I watch a lot of anime. So that's and then being a person who's always been into like science and the human body, it's just I want to try it. It is something I want to experience, but at the same time, I stepped on a bug that was almost out the door and started crying. So like it's just like it almost made it out. And I literally was like ushering it out and I didn't want to kick it too fast and I fucked around and slipped and stepped on it and started crying because I didn't have to take that life. Like so
She didn't do that.
Somebody
like
get her. Somebody get her.
what?
Somebody get
For
her.
real. But here's a question I have
Yeah.
because he was speaking about we can't do the same thing that they did to us.
Mhm.
So outside of physically, I feel like why can't we do this some of the same stuff they did to us? Like if for example, if we have our communities, like we circulate money in our community, we
Yeah.
have like
We
I'm
should.
not like well I'm just saying like but that's the type of stuff they do. That's how we're being systematically affected now. But
Right,
like if I have a club that I only want like I can use the law to manipulate it to where black people only get in my club,
right,
but I would have to know how to manipulate the law effectively that way. So why can't we do them like they do us?
right,
That is a goal of mine to have the type of education and resources and clout so I can do that.
right.
We
And
ready.
that perspective, I agree with you 110%.
The
You
phone's
know,
Rocky, bro.
the dollar being circulated in our community is not circulated in our community as it should be. So I'm definitely you 100%. We should build our own schools. We should have our own grocery stores. We should have our own banks. We should have our own farms. We should have every holistic shop that we have. We should have communities that set up. I agree with you 110% in that perspective. Hell yeah. You know, we put out, they say, put your money where your mouth is.
That's
So
it.
then all we got to do is create the systematic and understanding of group economics. And we got to teach that to our youth. And we can
Yes.
teach group economics to our youth now, and they can be 3 and 4 years old and they can understand the dollar circulation with our own people right now. Hell yeah, we good in 10 years. But if we can't
Right,
teach that, I don't know.
But that's still systemic oppression though
From
right.
what
towards
point?
them. Because if we
We
because okay, oh hey mama, I ain't
Hey,
see you.
sis.
so the issue is not that we are very much so capable of that. I don't know which camera to look at. This one, no, we very much so capable of that. We proved that time and time again. The issue is we always end up underwater. Look it up.
That's it. That's it. We
Or
can't
burn
never stick together.
completely
It's
burned
called
down.
cycles. It's called cycles. We have to fall. We always get angry about these cycles, but we're not looking. We're looking from a point of what's happening now. but all time has to come back into cycles. There's a rise, there's a fall. There's a rise and there's a fall. That's why they wrote all the stuff that they wrote in Egypt, because they said, we're going to write this stuff, but we don't think it's really going to happen. But they wrote it because they were losing their conscience. They were losing their memory because we didn't have to write stuff down. We could speak telepathically.
Right.
You know,
Back in the day.
we can go portals back and forth around the country, but that's with one point in time. But now when we look at ourselves, we're gauging ourselves as tonight on the economic system. And we arise and we fall. But
I agree with you 100%.
the king of Mali, he offset the whole thing. Go ahead, Walt.
No, I agree with you 100%. I've taken a hard look over the last, over the last 8 years, and with knowing that resources are available, the places that we need that need the most support, how do you support them for them and to help them gain an understanding of how to think sustainably, if that makes sense. So I realize now there are levels to who we are. When I say to who we are, I mean indigenous people. There are the low class, the poor, and there's these ghettos that are created. And not that we're completely far removed from it, but our mind frame is how do we fix this and help them understand that we are fixing this instead of staying in the same mindset. The biggest problem is social media that feeds the idea that ghetto is where it's at. I can act ratchet, I can do all this, I can spend all my money and then suffer for the rest of the month, and then when the next money comes, I'm suffering again. How do we change that mindset? And the hard part is them not knowing how to begin to be sustained or begin to be sustainable. And again, I've taken a very hard look economically. It can't happen, but it's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna take a lot for it to happen.
Agree.
I agree. I took a course. I'm in college.
Woo, education.
Yeah.
Woo.
And doing research, they give you a topic and you got to do your research on it. And as I've said before, like I'm very I love my culture, I love my people, and I love to learn and do research.
Right.
And kind of like Mr. Walter was saying and what Sis was saying, a lot of times we kick ourselves in the butt. Right now, you look at, like Mr. Walter was saying, with social media. My example I use is TV. That's the example I like to use because Love and Hip Hop, I had to stop watching that. It's because they portray us on TV as being ratchet, nasty. Like you said, spend every penny we get on this outlandish, expensive stuff that we don't have no need for. If you don't have the latest this, you don't have the latest that, then you're not this. The long weaves and so on and so forth. If you don't have all of these things, then you don't have nothing. And for myself, I like my wigs. I get my nails done. I take care of myself. However, I make sure my bills are paid.
Right. There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I understand the importance of having a high yield savings account. I understand the importance of putting money in my bank account and not spending every dime that I get, because you never know what's going to happen and you need some money.
Right.
I understand those things, but it boils down to every Black person of color is not being taught how to manage their money.
Exactly.
They're not being taught how to. Matter of fact, these kids nowadays are not being taught how to manage a checkbook. How? What? So if they're not being taught these things, then they don't know how to manage their funds or not to spend every penny they get. Like my kids got piggy banks and they get their funds. My middle son is like, okay, Mom, can I go put this $1 in my piggy bank or this $5 or whatever? He don't touch it. My baby, he see a penny, he'll pick it up. Can I go put this in my dinosaur egg? And we're teaching them, don't spend every penny you get. Right. And I tell you, when your piggy bank is full, we're going to take it to the bank and open up your bank account. We're going to continue to add to that. And that teaches them the value of $1. Let's go grow our own food. So they're learning how to live off their land. So
Right.
when the boo boo hits the fan, they know how to manage their funds. They know how to go out and make their own, go get their own food, grow their own food, and live and not have to worry about, hey, Peter, I got to go rob Paul. Can you
Right.
help
Right.
me? So
Mhm.
it's about educating. Close my door and go blow your nose. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. You never broke stride. You never broke stride. You never broke stride.
Yeah,
Man,
that's good. That's good. Very good. Thank
Yeah, we got to, man. We got to teach this up and coming generation.
you.
I honestly, y'all, I'm fearful for them.
Yeah.
you
I'm
you
Nah.
so fearful,
Be
man.
be
Like,
hopeful.
ugh,
Be hopeful.
Why
I
are
Be
you
am.
hopeful.
fearful?
And we should be able to, like, everyone on here is creative and innovative.
Yeah.
So all we have to do is come up with ideas and how it can affect our youth. And we can build it on a systematic way. We can use all these different tools around us. There's so many resources around us. And it don't take much to come up with an idea of how we can implement. We have to just do it systematically where it affects each person, no matter where they are. They can
Right.
implement these principles because
Yeah.
we don't live on principles anymore. And that's where we're falling from.
mm,
That's
We used to live on principles. There used to be a harmony with principles.
that's
Now
it.
we just say F it and do whatever comes to mind. Fuck it.
That's it.
sounds like everybody's on weed.
That's it.
You, I
Wait,
don't
hold
know
on,
about that
wait.
because
We're not
hold on, whoa,
attacking
whoa, wait.
Thank you
marijuana.
very
I
much.
want to talk about
Use
the
the
weed.
word,
We're
okay?
not. You're okay. You leaning too far. Stay in your lane, baby.
Yeah.
'Cause you
What?
don't. You
I
don't
had to be the
attack
disturber. I
marijuana.
had to be the disturber real quick.
Don't
Mm,
don't attack marijuana. You see, I was listening so quietly and shit. And God, don't be like that. We're
mm.
not attacking marijuana, sugar. Don't do that.
Okay, all right. Let me say this one thing about weed real quick though. This motherfucker, no, you didn't.
Wait, where's my pen? Hold
This
on.
motherfucker.
The Lord's grass.
Blaze it up.
Everybody says smoke the ganja, you say?
Exactly.
Everyone.
Oh
But
Jesus!
back,
Ja Rastafari.
I spoke too much.
You stupid. But nah, when it comes to it though, I feel that the weed these days, the stuff that they sell in dispensaries and everything is different than how it was back in the day. I
it
feel
is.
that it is making the government
They're making
overlook stuff. I do feel like that right there there's an agenda behind it. And
it's a legal addiction that
yeah,
they're
it's almost like the crack pandemic again. I'll be honest.
Actually, no, it's not because your body doesn't have the same physiological response to it, baby. Don't do that to weed.
the way
Mm-mm.
Mm,
the way that the new weed is being pushed, how it's everywhere, and the way that people are getting addicted to it. Because you don't smoke like before. You can smoke like with real weed. You can smoke
Hmm.
that stuff and be good. Now it's like you smoke the stuff that the government that is regulated out in dispensary and stuff, and you're high for like what, maybe 30 minutes, and then you're going to get some more to smoke some more.
I
And I'm
don't.
like, the way that people are coming back, I'm like, that stuff
Oh,
doesn't seem
oh,
it
that's
doesn't
what you
seem real.
mean.
It doesn't
Okay,
seem
that's what
real.
you mean. It's
And I'm gonna
because
raise my.
they're manipulating
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like for example, this right here. I just hit this. This was the second time today that I've hit this
Mhm.
cartridge. Okay, that just them two hits are probably I'm gonna to be able to just stay throughout the day, just floating. I would need to hit it like 4 or 5 times. But if I were to use plant or flower is what we call it out here in
Mhm.
California, they'd be like, "Oh, you want flower?" If you use flower, that high is more sustainable over a longer period of time, but it's a lot stronger. So that flower high, the not because I don't know what they do to the cannabinoids in like cartridges and stuff, but it's not the same high at
Nope,
all.
it's not.
Nope.
So, so with the flower, like when I smoke flower, I am just all day. Like I know that I either need to whatever I'm doing, I need to do it at home
Mhm.
because if I go out in public, like for real, like I would smoke flower when it was time to write papers.
Yes.
when it was like end of term
Oh,
papers because I need to be like, boom, let's go all night, let's go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know, because I'm a
hmm
procrastinator. But with this, I can smoke this, I can go out and function. I'm still high. If it was flour and I go outside, somebody gonna piss me the fuck off, and I know they are, and they gonna ruin my high. And so it's a lot safer. I feel like to smoke these cartridges, but if you
for you.
cannot afford it and you cannot control it, then it can be an issue.
There you go.
Like I tell most people, if you haven't been smoking like a long time in your life, just hit flower. You need to learn how to control that first.
Facts.
Just deal with flower. So okay, I kind of understand what you're saying now because I was like, all this marijuana attacking. Like, I'm sorry,
Nah,
but we can't do this.
I look. I partake in the trees as well. I'm not bashing it. I just feel that the way the stuff that they're pushing out,
I do
it's
agree.
not the same. It's not the
I
same. Like
agree.
me, yeah, me and Impossible, we've had this discussion before. Like
Yeah.
there's some sources to where it's real stuff.
hmm
It's not being tampered with and all that. And I mean, then at the same time, you also got to be careful where you get it too, because they're lacing it with fentanyl and other things and stuff too. So I
Shit.
mean, yeah,
Chad.
Compounded. It's
yeah,
compounded.
yeah.
That's
So I mean, you got to be careful. And I mean, some
Yeah.
of the dispensaries they add things to it too to make the flower look brighter, make it look like it's
Oh
got
hmm
all this
yeah.
and all this stuff. And I'm like, you don't know exactly what they're putting on it. I mean, they can tell you whatever, but you mess around, be sitting there saying, so I mean,
Oh
you
my
got to be
gosh.
well, you know. But
I
I
I've
mean,
seen
see.
rabbits.
I
that's
still need my flower off the boat. You know what I'm talking about? If
exactly.
my flower ain't coming off the boat, I don't want that shit. My
I
shit gotta
feel
come
you.
off the
I
boat.
feel you, and
But you know what?
That shit,
that's where we
not
connect,
out
my
the lab,
brother.
out the boat, nigga. Give me out the boat.
I've written several papers on compounded medications
Mhm.
Mm,
Oh, not us using
and several
technical
papers
terms.
on marijuana usage.
uh-huh.
Yes, and I am honestly, and I tell folk, my professors are like, "Oh my god, yes, no,
Oh
I'm
my
not
god!
taking those compounded medications that you didn't made up in no lab, because you
Right.
Right.
take some medications that they give you, and then now
Mhm.
you got to take another medication to treat the symptom,
Mhm.
and you got to take another medication to treat that symptom, and
Yeah.
so
Facts.
what my brother is saying, like with the compounded marijuana, because that's what it is, the delta
hmm
8,
Yeah.
Yeah.
delta, that's messed and made in the lab. So we
hmm
don't know what you're putting in it. We don't know entirely unless you're growing your tree. I like to say tree. I'm old school, in your backyard or in
There
your
you go.
garage or in your closet. You don't know what's being put in there.
That's
It's
right.
That's
this
true.
pharmaceutical
That is.
drugs. So
That's
we
real.
just have to be careful, and I'm gonna be real transparent. I used to hit the cartridges, but my mama, she old school, and she was like, "You
Mhm.
need to be careful because you don't know what you're putting in your lungs.
Right.
That part.
hmm
You don't know what that is that you're inhaling and putting." So she goes, "Now the edibles, that's fine to help you with your pain, dealing with the MS, okay, but be careful what you put in your lungs, because the way our bodies are designed is not the same way that others' bodies
Exactly.
are designed.
That's
Hmm.
real.
And
That's
I
Oh
mean,
real.
yeah.
Things happen to us that may not happen
Mhm.
to other people. And we
Right.
the ones be sitting here sick, gotta have body parts amputated, losing
Right. Right.
this stuff we put in our bodies.
Real
Gotta
shit.
be careful. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I mean,
So
that is true. That's why I stick only to certain cartridges and cartridge companies. I don't
There you
kind of
go.
drift out. And that's really just a laziness for me because I refuse to research every time I want to try something new. But that is
Open
understandable
the door.
because even I was told to just start doing more edibles
mhm.
rather than even partaking in flour because I've always like, even if I drop this cartridge, I'm never dropping the flour.
Bring that.
I've always said that. But then you have to think about, oh well, anything you take into your lungs that is not oxygen is a hindrance. Like if you want to steam your face, that's a hindrance
mm,
because that's why they say you're supposed to use filtered water or certain waters when you steam your face, and because what can be in water. So I do take those type of things into consideration. And it's just, I kind of balance it out with like, everything is mitigated risk. I found out the other day parasites come out of holes in my eye and eat stuff off my eyelashes
Yeah,
while I'm asleep. So
yeah.
everything is
They'll come out the booty
everything is
hole
just,
too.
wait, why you sleeping? That's a thing.
You didn't know that?
Just, well, no, I'm talking about, this is something that happens on a consistent basis. Like, it's not a health issue.
Hmm.
Come out your booty hole on a consistent basis.
If you eat something funny,
Yeah,
Well,
you
no,
have
no, oh
certain
no.
worms in you, they
Oh
can.
no, no. Oh, you're talking about that. No, sugar. I'm talking about, it's literally a process of
your
like,
body's
cause I mean, you can,
natural.
Yeah.
like, that happens. Yeah. Like, it's not, you don't have a oversaturation of parasites,
Okay.
and this, for this to happen.
Okay, got
Just
you.
found out it happens. And it was like, it's like these tiny little micro mites or something that they said. And I was like, what? And I was, don't do that. Thank you for explaining. Cause I was like, now I got my booty hole, Lord.
Walking around scratching and
She's like,
shit.
no wonder I'm itching at night. Just kidding.
Oh, no, no, surprise me because I don't have itchy booty hole. So it would
It's
be
probably
too
that still
small.
parasite.
Yeah, but it's just the thought of like a little mite is coming out my booty hole and I can't feel it or
Hey, listen, Ira, my battery is about
Go
to
back
die,
to
so
forgiveness.
Okay, all right.
my
We
battery
are
is about to
off
die. So
topic.
I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to lead the conversation because my battery is about to die and my grandson going 8.
Okay, sounds best, boss. Hey, thanks for joining us. All right.
I
I'm actually
appreciate it,
about to go
man.
ahead and get into the closing comments, and then we're going to share gratitude. All right.
All right.
You want to go ahead and share your gratitude before you go?
My gratitude is shout out to the queen that came through the night and talking about burying them mayonnaise people. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about? I appreciate you doing what you do. And thank you, Ira, again for the platform again. It's my other grandson. They want to get in, the other want to get in too. And
hey babies.
so I just want to say I appreciate everybody. Forgiveness is everything. Forgiveness is liberation. It leaves everything behind. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what you're going through. If you're not willing to forgive, you're not willing to liberate yourself. And from that, I'm gonna say we gonna say we out of here because my grand's on me. Peace, light, and love.
Blessings,
good
blessings.
night.
Annyeong.
Peace.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, bet. With that, going into the gratitude and what you learned, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Miss Queenie Bianca, what are you thankful for, and what did you learn from this episode?
I am grateful that you all exist and I'm grateful I was able to participate. Um, because I'm grateful for that for selfish reasons because people that you be in dealings with, they're a reflection of you. And since y'all smart and thoughtful, then so um but I am grateful I was able to participate and I was able to hear y'all different perspectives on things because like my ideal of what forgiveness itself was, it's always been, for myself, but I didn't even understand because then that's something that I learned. Like I didn't even understand that forgiving didn't necessarily mean that um just because I didn't hate them all the time, I thought that it was like a non-forgiveness, but it is a forgiveness because I don't have that feeling. And so I like that I learned that that can apply to the concept of forgiveness because I just thought it was like pushed down and I just didn't feel it no more.
Bless up, bless up. Yo, Dolly,
You're
what are you grateful for, and what did you learn from this episode?
hmm. Well, I'm grateful again, yeah, for the opportunity to even be on this platform to speak with you guys on this topic. It was a good topic. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites. Um, to be honest, forgiveness, unforgiveness. What did I learn? Um, as always, man, I learned a lot. But what I learned most importantly was, I guess, the forgiving of what our ancestors had to endure and how today we have to still function in forgiveness so that it doesn't hinder us in the future and even now because it affects our children growing up. So that's ultimately what I learned.
Best. Mr. Sigma Uno. I'm forever grateful for the platform and
the wonderful people that were on today and past. I learned today that forgiveness has many different shades, and that you should always be prepared, and your basement should always be prepared for those people that need to be there. So I appreciate you guys, and great conversation. I can go on and on, but yeah, that's what it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Bless up. For me, once again, as always, I am grateful for the very small circle that I have, but how amazing every single one of them are. And today, I gotta say, Mr. Impossible, like Impossible, he got me with that detachment. I love the detachment, because it's like I still firmly believe you can't forget, but you definitely can detach from the situation. So with that, the detachment is the biggest thing that I took, and I know that's something that I struggle with. Just detaching from the situation. That's just an abandonment issue that I have. I hold on to things pretty long, and I used to always subconsciously find a reason why I should not let it go. So the detachment is one of the biggest things I learned. It's something I know I need to work on further,
That's
But
good.
yo, I appreciate every single one of y'all for jumping on tonight. The time zone difference and everything. I appreciate it. People make time for the things that they want. And so, I mean, I really appreciate y'all even being here right now. You didn't have to, but you chose to. And we got to chop it up, have some laughs, and learn some good things from everybody sharing the knowledge and wisdom that they have. And with that, I'm giving gratitude. I'm thankful for it. Thank you. This is the end of the episode. This is Divine Time. As always, relax your mind. It's Divine Time. For anybody, I'd say type down in the comments of what you learned and what you're thankful for. All right, blessings.